Sourdough starter. All right, so the first thing when you start working with bread is you need a sourdough starter. And we want sourdough starter because it's more authentic and it makes a better flavored bread. It makes a more easily digested bread than just using yeast. Most people use yeast because it's easier. But as I was going through my Einkorn cookbook, she talked about the benefits of sourdough starter. So I spent the first 10 days getting my sourdough starter made. And it was a really fun process learning how to grow sourdough starter. You can actually, sourdough starter is made from flour and water, and you just have to give it time to grow and create what it does. So as you can see here, when I open this up, does that work, Anna? Can you see that in there? You can see all the bubbles, you can see all the life, so there's air in this. And this has actually been in the refrigerator for about a week, and I just brought it out this morning to warm it up so that I could make my sourdough leaven for the bread that we want to make today and tomorrow. So if you live here in Colorado Springs and you decide to get started on this, you can come by and I'll share my sourdough starter with you because it grows every day and there's plenty to share. So once we get our sourdough starter made, then this becomes the essence for all of our bread. It replaces the yeast and it grows, and then you feed it, and it grows and you feed it, and you keep it in the refrigerator or keep it out on the counter. So what we want to do to make our leaven, so every bread that we make that has sourdough in it or that needs yeast, we have to make what's called a sourdough leaven. So we're going to take out of this about 2 tablespoons. All right. And I have found with a lot of the recipes that exact isn't, I know in baking exact is important, but when I'm making the sourdough leaven, I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of leaven in my bowl. And what I'll do is we'll take this and I'll add some flour and water to it in a little bit, and we'll feed this, and then it'll be ready for the next time we want to bake. So we now have to turn this into what's going to be the sourdough leaven that's going to replace the yeast whenever we get ready to bake a bread. So I want to bake bread tomorrow, so I need to get this ready for the bread tomorrow. So we take and add a half a cup of warm, they say 100 degrees. 100 degrees is about how you'd want to make the milk for a baby to drink. Okay, it's tepid, it's warm, and the warm is good because it just gets the sourdough up and running. So we're going to put that in there. Easiest thing I found to do is just take a fork for this, and we're just going to get the water and the sourdough starter blended in together. And this will take a minute. One of the things when I was watching all these videos, I realized it was really important for me to see what was actually happening, because this was such a foreign process to me that the videos that went quick or the videos that left things out, they weren't very helpful because I didn't know what to do. I wanted to see what things looked like, and I've been watching a lot of videos, different people doing sourdough different ways, einkorn different ways, so that I could get a sense for the dough and the bread and how we're doing it. All right, so we have that. Now we need to add about a cup of flour. So we are going to take, and for this one, it's not an exact thing that we need to worry about. My wife's always telling me, honey, you got to be exact with your baking. What I found with this early step here, I'm probably going to discover exact matters a little bit more, but we're going to just take a cup of flour. Get that out of the way. All right, and we just have to mix this up. So again, this is our sourdough leaven, and this is going to be the base for all of our bread when we're making bread. So this becomes the base for our sourdough bread. And we just want to blend this. You can use a firm spatula. I have a special spatula that's really good for working with the einkorn bread. But since we just have the fork here right now, we're going to be good. All right. And a lot of times what I'll do is the sourdough leaven it's sticky. The einkorn bread is sticky. So I would probably take this and put it into a clean bowl. But now this is ready to simply sit. And I'm going to cover it with saran wrap here in a few minutes. And this is just going to sit overnight. And when it's done, it's going to come up and it'll be almost full in here. Basically the sourdough starter is going to convert all of this dough to the starter that we're going to mix with the rest of our bread. So that's what your leaven will look like, and it's going to sit for 6 to 8 hours. In this case, it's going to sit overnight on the counter with plastic over it and a towel over it, and it will be ready for me to make bread in the morning. That's your sourdough leaven. Forest out.